Welcome to Agents for Screen and another edition of the Monthly Reel. This is your June edition. What is the Monthly Reel, you may ask? Well, we are going to break down all of June's hottest releases. We're going to do the hard work for you. We're going to tell you what to go see, what not to see. It's only going to be brief. We're not going to bore you. So let's get straight into it. Who have we got here with me today?
Yeah, it's your boy Miles, as always. I'm your favourite agent.
Wow.
You know?
Is that why you're throwing gang signs?
No, that's M for Monthly Reel.
Okay.
M for Monthly Reel.
I like that.
Who else you got?
Got me, Adam, the one and only white member of Agents on Screen. Apparently Miles won't let any more in, but I'm going to see what I can do.
Allegedly.
Wow. And if you want to see the M sign, you can watch this video on YouTube. You may already be doing it, but it'll be youtube.com/Agents on Screen, because you could be listening to it, because we're also in audio format where you can listen to this on all your favourite podcasting. What are they called?
Anything we don't do.
Spotify.
What are they called? Podcasting what? Apps, podcasting platforms, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Spotify, iTunes, Google, the lot. Whatever you got, I got.
Soon to be SoundCloud.
Soon to be SoundCloud. I don't know. What have I got? I've got Podcast Addict, and it seems to work.
Okay,
Nice.
Works on everything.
Alright.
Let's just get straight into it.
Yes.
Actually, no. I'll tell you what. Let's just talk about May quickly, because we missed May last month for technical reasons.
Yeah.
It was a hot month. We had Game of Thrones. We had Endgame. It was a big month for May. How did you guys feel coming out of May into June?
Yeah, Endgame was in April, wasn't it? At the end of April.
Oh yeah, sorry, you're right. It was.
But yeah, in terms of Game of Thrones,
Can we not talk about it?
it was largely disappointing. If you want to, hear more detail of what we thought about it, then we did do a season finale of Game of Thrones podcast.
Well, we did a weekly.
We did a weekly one.
We did a weekly breakdown, and every week I think it got more and more frustrating and emotional in our voices.
100%.
Yeah,
8 years for what?
I won't go into it, but I heard an analogy that I thought was quite good. It was like the writers, they were, stay with me with this.
Go on.
It was like they were making love to a woman, and then they were told that their parents are coming home in the next 10 minutes, so they had to finish as quick as they could. That's how it just felt rushed.
10 minutes.
Yeah, man.
I mean, yeah,
Decent time.
it was rushed. But as you said, there is a Game of Thrones podcast that we have, which is both on YouTube and podcast version. So if you really want to listen to that, I don't even want to think about Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
Before we get into what is hot in June, I heard that you made some jollof rice. Is that true?
I mean,
Wait, hold on a
it's
second.
normal, isn't it?
Yeah, I didn't know Asian people could do that.
I'm quite good
Was
at
it?
it.
Okay.
Nigerian, Ghanaian,
It's my own spin.
Bangladesh.
In all honesty, though, this is going to be a very, very short monthly reel.
Okay.
It's probably going to be wrapped up in the next 5 minutes.
Wow.
Why is that?
Why is that?
Because we're going to start with the one and only thing you should be watching in June. The Champions League final. Come on, Tom! June the 1st. Tottenham Hotspur are going to lift this trophy all together now. Come on, you...
Get your finger away from me.
Why am I the only...
Get your finger the hell away from me.
I cannot wait.
June
Cannot
1st.
wait to edit this video.
June the 1st.
And I cannot wait.
The Champions League fight. Are you editing the video? Can you put the... We're going to play
I'm going to put your trophy
League.
cabinet all in the back, mate.
We're going to play the Champions League theme right now if everybody can hear.
Goodness gracious me. You might understand that reference.
I'm shell shocked.
All right.
I'm shocked.
This isn't a football podcast, although if enough
You just
people
lowered the tone.
if enough people
You just
want
lowered
it,
the
we
tone.
can do a football
You
podcast.
just ruined it.
Well,
Our 17 listeners have just switched off.
speaking of ruining things, let's start with
Good segue.
I like that. It's almost like we planned it.
on the 5th of June. Speaking of ruining franchises, speaking of ending franchises like the Game of Thrones ended.
Yes.
Speaking of going from rushing things, our first release in June is the 5th of June. And it's X-Men Dark Phoenix, starring Game of Thrones' very own Sophie Turner.
AKA Sansa Stark, AKA the Queen in the North.
aka independent.
Oh,
Yeah.
I wanna snap at more Game of Thrones.
That's why we like her. Yeah.
But you don't want to sing Come on Tottenham Hotspur.
No,
Sing that, yeah.
100% not.
Well,
All right. Anyway,
I'm not gonna lie. I've been
X-Men
frazzled.
Dark Phoenix. I mean, this is the last of the X-Men movies in the Fox franchise.
Yeah. Which
What's
is
it about? How's it ending? What's it
Well,
about?
this, as you said, it's the last in the series. It's the 12th X-Men film.
Wow.
You know?
Really? Does that include Logan?
Yes.
Best
12, you
one. Best
know.
one.
But what is it about? It's set in 1992. It's a decade after the last film, which was X-Men Apocalypse, right? So the X-Men, you know, they're celebrated as heroes, you know, for accepting certain risky missions. They do a mission that takes them to space, but unfortunately, their ship is hit by a solar flare during this mission, and Jean Grey loses control of her abilities and unleashes the Dark Phoenix.
Haven't we seen this before?
Feels, I think we have, but they've
Did
rebooted it.
Phoenix get unleashed and kill everyone?
Yeah,
Killed,
10 years
killed,
ago.
wiped out Cyclops.
And then what happened?
Everyone
It never
realised it was
happened.
trash.
They woke up and it was all a dream. Like,
No, they used the X-Men Days of Future Past to kind of soft reboot the whole thing, go back in time, change everything.
but then they're doing the same thing that they did.
Basically.
Right. Okay.
Basically. So yeah, so it's got James McAvoy, Michael Fassbender.
The usual cast.
Yeah.
Any good?
Sophie Turner. You know, I'm not looking forward to it. It was delayed anyway. It had to have reshoots and it's been delayed, so that would suggest that it was trash and they had to change things. What it's been changed to, we don't know, but I'm not looking forward to it.
You know what my problem is with these X-Men films? Is that they're not trying to cater to the fans at all. They're just capitalizing on the likes of Sophie Turner, Jennifer Lawrence. Like, why is Mystique such a big character in those films? Just because
they
Jennifer
want it
Lawrence.
to be.
Yeah, but it makes it bogus. Bogus.
Bogus. That's a good word.
Yeah, man.
Shout out to Bill and
Bogus.
Ted.
Yeah, I like
What
Wellington.
are you doing? So, by the sounds of it, you guys are not looking forward to it.
So I'm hoping they can.
You're happy it's ending then?
Yes, of course.
The
So
franchise.
the faster it ends means the quicker it can be. They can be introduced in the MCU, the real MCU.
That would be mad.
So what's your
How they do
predictions for how this whole franchise ends? They all gonna die? Is it gonna be happy?
It's going to be a lot of death.
What do you think?
Me personally, I think there's going to be a lot of death.
I think so too.
Xavier's going to go. Probably Magneto's going
What,
to go.
at the hands of Phoenix?
Yeah, she's too much. She's too much.
I mean, if Apocalypse can kill him.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, I have no real predictions. I predict that it's gonna be disappointing.
Well, that goes without saying.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm glad it's the last, but you know, hopefully they can prove us all wrong.
So then, just before we move on quickly, as you said, you're looking forward to them to be reintroduced into the MCU. If, like Adam says, Xavier dies, Magneto dies, for argument's sake, can they be reintroduced in the MCU, or would it seem a bit, these people are dead, or should we just forget that?
I think you forget it.
You
personally.
forget it, and they can't do it immediately. So it won't be in the next maybe 1 to 3 years, and we'll be in the next maybe 5 to
Yeah, I was
7
gonna say even
years.
3 years will be too soon, isn't
And
it?
even what they did at Endgame gives them the opportunity to introduce mutants. For example, when they do the snap, it releases gamma radiation all across the globe. They've snapped 3 times. The gamma radiation could have gone into a number of kids, and the kids from the
Become
snap
mutants, sort of
become
thing, yeah.
mutants. Easy.
Makes sense.
Nice little link could work.
Yeah, another reason why I'm not looking forward to this is the guy that's actually directing it. He directed X-Men Apocalypse, and he did Last Stand. I think this is the first film he's actually ever directed in his life. Before he's just doing writing and stuff. So
Right. And they gave him the big X-Men franchise.
yeah, and he
And
done
the big
Fantastic Four as
X-Men
well.
villain.
He done Fantastic Four as well. Triple X.
Which Fantastic Four?
Any of them.
All of them.
The last one, yeah. The last one, Michael B. Jordan.
I mean, the way I would do it, prediction, for me, just a quick prediction, but not really a prediction because I know it won't happen, more of a wish. I think I don't think they could do it at the end of the film, but maybe end credits have something to do with Deadpool just destroying the universe. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how, but just like Deadpool pressing a button and he blows up the world and then it ends. I don't know.
Do you think they'll do that though?
I don't know, but you've got to get rid of it. You know what I mean? But
Well, we're gonna find out.
All right, just anticipation levels, you guys. What would you say out of 5?
2.
2. I'd
Yeah,
say
2, 2.5.
I'd say 4.
Really, 4?
Yeah, 4.
4?
Mm.
Really?
Yes.
You just said
Wow.
that's what I said.
Yeah, you just.
It's not 4. It's not 4 below average.
No, but out of 5.
Out of 5.
Oh, sorry. My bad. My brain's not working.
Yeah,
that whole Tottenham thing just it put my brain into a frenzy. I apologize. So yeah, out of 5, I'll give it probably a 2. Yeah.
Yeah. 2 across the board.
Yeah.
But speaking of putting your brain into a frenzy, it's almost like you got
These are
flash.
You're getting good at this.
It's almost like someone hit a button and your brain went funny.
Like a neuralizer.
Like a neuralizer.
Mad.
Okay.
Which leads us on to our next release, which I'm personally very intrigued by. It is the reboot, or is it a remake? No, it's a reboot of the Men in Black franchise.
Spin-off.
Yeah,
Spin-off.
It's a spin-off, so...
Which is called Men in Black International.
Yes.
What's that about, Alan? Because I'm intrigued, I'm sure other people are.
What is it about?
Where's Will Smith?
We don't know, he might be in it. He might be in it. For now, it's starring our very own, Australian Chris Hemsworth from...
AKA
Thor, the man, the god of thunder, the son of Odin. Man's got his eye back.
Of
Stormbreaker, and the other one, Mjolnir, that Captain America picked up. Mjolnir. So it's got Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson, the agents this time around.
Tessa Thompson, also
Valkyrie
from Thor.
Oh yes, Valkyrie, yeah, riding that unicorn.
The new leader of Asgard.
Pegasus.
Yeah, the new leader of Asgard.
So this is going to be very similar to what we're used to in Men in Black, but this time, what makes this film more interesting is set in London. It's a London-based agency. So that I look forward to how they play that. I like to think they do a bit of stuff in the London streets. That would be pretty cool, I think. But apart from that, yeah, it's just a series of aliens attacks across the globe. And,
so just saying about Men in Black kind of format, just different
it's gonna be
just a fun movie, just...
So,
there's few directions they can go in.
Will Smith could still be around, but he's in the America agency. This is the London agency.
Yeah, I like to think there'll be some kind of link with Will Smith.
So they might give him a little telephone call, you know, like they did with like Michael Jackson when he was in...
maybe.
They had him on the
in
screen.
Number 2,
and they were just,
but that was rubbish.
Number 2,
yeah.
Was it 2 or 3?
Number 2. Then Number 2 was rubbish. Number 2 was bogus.
So they might do that. But this is basically the whole Men in Black thing, but a different agency.
Different agency, different agency, different threats, different agents, set in London. And I think, I don't know, I'm a fan of the Men in Black films, to be honest with you.
Not really
Apart
much more
from
to say.
Number 2 was a big letdown.
We kind of know what to expect.
I think this will be more of a comedic vibe.
Which worries me.
No, but it doesn't worry me. The reason why it doesn't worry me personally is because I've even said our very own Chris Hemsworth. In Thor Ragnarok and in Endgame, you can see he's a very good comedic actor.
He is good.
So,
but my fear is, and like in Thor Ragnarok, I feel like they lean too much on the comedic side. One after the other.
But I don't understand.
I think that's what they'll do here.
Men in Black is a comedy.
Yeah, they're funny. So the first one was funny, the third one was funny, the second one they just shoved it all down. It was too slapstick, too cheesy. It was just, I like it a bit more subtle, you know. I like the gentle side.
Pause.
You know? Why is that a pause?
But yeah, I think the comedy, Chris Hemsworth is one of his strong points is comedy. So definitely. I think that this will be interesting to see. I'm not looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it more than X-Men.
I'll tell you what I am looking forward to though.
What's that?
Tessa Thompson.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to see how she does.
She's usually in very good movies.
Yeah,
I haven't seen her in any weak movies personally.
And I like the cut of her black suit. It looks. Yeah,
Speaking of black, that's another. That's another good segment.
We're doing well with this. I'm not sure where we're going.
Anticipation levels, just quickly. I'm going 4 out of 5 because I'm looking forward to it.
That's high.
That is high. I'm going 3 personally.
I'm going 3 personally. And before, let me just jump in there quickly. I know we spoke about May.
Yeah.
Briefly, if you haven't seen John Wick, go see John Wick.
Okay.
Very good movie in May.
And when you do see John Wick, make sure you go to www.youtube.com/S.C.R.E.E.N and see our review.
Yes.
Because, as you said, very good movie.
Imagine if you only said YouTube and not www.
I'm imagining it. I've imagined it. Now what happens?
Exactly the same thing.
That's it. Oh, okay. Yeah, go for your segue then. Go for it.
No,
speaking of black.
you just saying. Speaking of black, with Tessa Thompson, black John Wick suit.
Okay, I see. You see that?
Another iconic suit.
Yeah.
What are we saying here? I don't understand. Where are we going?
The next movie in June.
Oh, right, okay. I get you. The next movie in June now.
Which is released. You got to say it in the voice though.
Well,
the theme tune.
It's released on the same day as Men in Black. So
what?
What was that? Was there a mouse or what was that?
I think that was Mickey.
Squeak. What happened?
Mickey, hold tight, Mickey.
Shaft.
Excuse me.
Reboot.
Yeah.
Pause.
Remake.
Yeah.
Sequel. What is it?
No, it's a sequel. It's a sequel coming out on June the 14th, as you said. Same day as Men in Black. The same people are reprising their roles. Samuel L. Jackson.
Do you know what I was gonna say? I don't know nothing about this film, but I bet Samuel L. Jackson's playing Shaft.
Yeah. There has been a trailer. Haven't you seen a trailer?
No, I haven't seen trailer.
So basically, what's going to happen? Shaft. He's an iconic character. He's been around for decades.
But this is a sequel to what the Samuel L. Jackson version.
Yes, that was in 2000. 2000.
2000.
Yeah, 2000.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, like a whole 19 years.
Imagine 19 years.
So it's basically Shaft's son. John Shaft Jr. is an FBI agent. And after his best friend dies, under suspicious circumstances, he turns to his estranged father. That's a stereotype. Anyway, estranged father, the legendary John Shaft II, to uncover the truth. The father and son must navigate through the Harlem underworld to solve the crime.
Who's playing John Shaft Jr.?
An actor I've never heard of before called Jesse Usher. Never heard of him before. I don't think he's been in anything that we may know personally. But I'm interested to see how they do it. I assume it's going to be some type of passing the baton type of thing. Because Samuel L. Jackson, even though he may not look it, he is 70 years old.
Wow.
What?
Revelations!
He is. I've done my Googles.
That was 70 years old?
Turning 71 at the end of this year.
That's it.
He was born in 1948. He's been around for a long time.
Mad.
I would have said 50.
That's insane. I would have said, late 50s.
It looks very good for his age. I don't know if that's CGI actually.
No, it can't be. I'm gonna go buy some cocoa butter after this because 70 years old looking like that.
You're gonna buy all the butters?
No, just cocoa butter.
But yeah, 70 years old. But we're gonna see him again soon. Obviously, we're not talking about July yet, but he's gonna be in Spider-Man. Far From Home.
But yeah, I look forward to that.
But before that, of course, we're gonna see Shaft. How are you guys feeling about anticipation levels?
Do you know what? I've forgotten the first film.
I have too. It's been 19 years ago.
Do you know I forgot the first film was
even
made?
Don't get me wrong. I'm like, look, I'll give it a 3 because
Really?
I'm not against it, but I wouldn't be rushing to see it. I think if anyone listening to this that's thinking, should I, shouldn't I? Maybe you should. If you're a fan, you've seen the first one. If you want to be introduced to the series for the first time, perhaps go and give it a look. But
And don't worry, I'll go if you're unsure about it, I'll go see it for you. Sure. And you can go to YouTube/Agents of Screen, see our review, and we'll tell you whether it's worth seeing or not. But yeah, it's interesting. Samuel L. Jackson, he's a very prolific actor. I think without Googling, he might be the actor that's appeared in the most movies ever, I think.
I wouldn't be surprised.
So
I just believe you.
So that being said,
that would be my guess.
His movie choices can be a bit, because he just takes,
but then
he just takes roles.
So you didn't say, what's your anticipation? Did you say your anticipation?
I would give it a 2. Give it a 2. Same as X-Men.
Yeah, I'll be the same to be fair.
Reckon?
I mean, we're saying that we're not really with X-Men, but you're giving it. That's why I gave it a 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just you.
2.5.
2 the same as X-Men.
Me as well, I'm giving it a 2 as well. It's like, for me, I don't know. There's no real burn to go and see it.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there.
So what you're trying to say is, what you said was, we're going to see Samuel Jackson in a superhero film next month, and you're saying there's no burn.
There's no burn
to see it.
Not for me. No.
So you get a superhero film, you get a burn, you mix it together. What do you get?
Is it bright?
Well, it's not time at time of filming, but
yeah,
so it must be Brightburn.
It must be Brightburn.
It is Brightburn, which is our next release, 19th of June. Brightburn, you lot are getting good at this.
Thanks.
Yeah, the segue is segue central out here.
Just natural. It's easy.
For those of people that don't know what Brightburn is, because it is quite an obscure film. It hasn't had
it's a good idea.
Major fanfare, the major
Which
hype
surprises
behind
me.
it, which is
It
surprising
surprises
too,
me,
because the
because-
idea is good. But Brightburn is like an evil version of the Superman story.
Yeah,
is that right?
so it seems, yeah. So Brightburn, what you got here? You got the classic Clark Kent Superman story. You know, his spaceship crashes when he's a kid, lands on a farm, gets found, not by the Kents, or might be the Kents, but
It's
I doubt
a couple
it.
that,
Gets found by a young couple. They decide to raise this child, basically, not tell anyone. They raise him,
The child
And-
develops superpowers.
you know, just like Superman, and Superman goes off and becomes good. This kid, he uses his powers for his own selfish needs. So yeah,
I don't know if it's selfish. He just might be a psychopath.
is that not selfish to be a psychopath,
I'm
going
not
around
sure.
killing people?
But yeah, but from the trailer does look
nice.
good.
It does look good. They've
trailer
made a
does
good
look
trailer.
I believe it's from the direct. I don't know. Who's directing it? Is it?
It's not James Gunn,
It's not James
but
Gunn, right?
James Gunn is producing it,
Yeah, as I said,
and I believe his brother, something Gunn. Excuse me, I apologize for not knowing your name. But he actually wrote the script.
Right.
James Gunn's
James
producing
Gunn's
it.
producing
Someone else is directing it.
director
So it's just,
is David Yarofsky.
Yeah.
I was referring to Gunn, but so basically, like we just said, it's just the Superman origin story, but
Yeah.
turned a little bit.
Yeah,
with a
absolutely.
twist. And it's a horror. It's like a superhero horror. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
I've never seen it either. How do you run away from a superhero trying to?
Especially Superman.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got the
All
most
the
super
powers.
of all superheroes.
I thought he was gonna say, man.
I was
Don't
going
want
to
to see
change.
But yeah, the only thing is that it's come out in America already.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of
Yeah,
the
I
few
know.
films that America get before us. You
Why
know,
did they do that?
so it's out in May. At time of release, it's out in May. So it's coming out in June in the UK.
Probably have a showbox ready.
Probably.
Are
By the
we
time.
concerned that it's released by Sony? Is that a concern?
Wouldn't say so. No.
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 No, I think they've given them lies. The fact, I mean, I don't think they'll ever mention the Superman name. I don't think they'll
No,
actually
they-
mention
they-
it.
they-
They'll
they-
mention
yeah.
the Kents.
No.
It's just implied
Yeah.
that it's a spin on the Superman story.
Yeah.
So
And the actual name of the town that they live in is called Brightburn. That's the whole time.
rather than
And Smallville, yeah.
Smallville, good series.
There you go.
Brian Gunn.
Brian.
Oh, okay.
Brian Gunn is a
Okay.
So what you guys do? What, give me. Are you gonna go see this? What's your anticipation?
Me personally, I'm actually looking forward to this a lot. Coming into June, this is the second most anticipated film for myself. I'm actually giving this one a 4 out of 5. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's gonna be good.
Me too. Based on the trailer.
Yeah,
Based on
absolutely.
the trailer was really good.
The trailer, the concept, the idea of it, I just think it's quite clever. I like it. I like it when people do creative stuff like this. Take something that we all know and put their own spin on it.
Yeah.
No, I like that. Like Wicked.
Yeah, exactly.
Great
Neat
show.
little story.
Great
Very,
show.
very, very good.
I say
Show
4
in the
out of
West
5.
End. Yeah, I've seen it myself. I wasn't talking about Wicked. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it too because, you know, most little kids, they like to play with their toys. This little kid, instead, he likes to kill.
Go on.
He'd say kids like to play with toys.
Yeah, I said most little kids like to play with toys, but it
Ah.
seems that this little boy
I
has got like little superpowers. And,
Yeah.
you're getting good at
What do
this.
you mean?
So what's your anticipation level before we move on?
Oh, yeah, 4.
Okay,
4 as
cool.
well, yeah.
So yeah, so we could say that the main character and antagonist for this film is a child.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
So speaking of children
So are we done with Brightburn?
and toys,
We're done with Brightburn. We can put a fork in it.
yes, like it's pasta, it's done.
You can put a fork in it or a spork.
Or a sport.
Or a spork,
yeah. Sport.
Yeah.
Which they normally have.
Speaking of good guys as well, you know, one of the next films.
The next film we got for you. I know this is running along, but June is. We got a couple more. Stay with us. We got a couple more films. This is probably the biggest film release of the month, I would say.
Wow!
Wait, hold on. Are we
You're
talking about
forgetting
the same
something.
thing?
No, we cannot be talking about the same thing.
Well, I'm talking about that.
I'm talking about
naturally, we're talking about this.
I'm talking about this.
This is the biggest film right
We're
here.
talking about the biggest film release. We're talking about toys. We're talking about
Sporks.
sporks,
Okay, cool.
right? Released on the 21st of June.
Alright.
The hotly anticipated. Is it even a sequel? Can you call it a sequel?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
of course
It's
it
a
is. Of course
sequel
it is.
2.
Yeah.
The
Sequel
trilogy
2,
is
3.
very. What's 4 then?
Quadruple.
whatever.
Quadrology.
Yeah,
Toy Story 4.
Wow. Wow.
Talk to me about Toy Story.
Wow.
There's nothing that needs to be said about Toy Story.
Toy Story 4, it's just, yeah, everyone knows it. So this one, you know what scares me about Toy Story 4? I've got a big theory. So everyone knows this Toy Story. It's got your, your favorite characters, Woody, Buzz. They're all back. Everyone remembers Jessie. She went missing. They find her this time. Woody finds her.
Jessie didn't go missing. Bo Peep went missing.
Oh, sorry. That's I'm picturing Bo Peep and I'm saying Jessie.
I don't know why you're touching me right now, but can you stop?
What's that? Wait. What's that?
Wait,
what's the...
Bo Peep did go
Bo
missing.
Peep went missing.
Unexplained as well. They never mentioned why.
Woody finds her.
Woody finds her.
And from what I can tell by the trailer, you should check out the trailer reaction on how do you say it, Greg? www.youtube.com/Agents of S.C.R.E.E.N.
Unless you imagine not saying
unless you imagine not saying that. It seems to me that Woody is intrigued by the lost life of a toy.
By the what life?
Lost life.
Can you elaborate?
When a toy is lost, they live the lost life.
Okay.
Good elaboration, yeah?
I guess so.
Thanks, well, you understood.
But yeah, Toy Story 4. What are you saying about it? Are you looking forward to it? What's your anticipation level?
Out of what? Out of 5?
Yeah.
Like 10?
What about you?
No, I mean, obviously, it's definitely a 5. There's no... Toy Story is Toy Story. Every single one of them have been good. It's hard to say that about a trilogy. There's always a one, 2 or 3. One of them, you can pick one that you're like, eh. Toy Story 1, 2 and 3, all have been good. Pixar in general don't really have bad movies.
They do great.
They take their time. They know what they're doing. So yeah, definitely. Going by the trailer as well, I was a bit worried as well when they ended Toy Story 3 perfectly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I thought, are you making this film for the sake of it?
Yeah,
but then they've taken it in a new direction.
That's what I was saying. But they're not.
Yeah.
Now that we don't know yet. But from the trailer, it just looks like a new take on it, a new spin. It looked good, especially with the spork.
Yeah, the sport.
Yeah, I'm a bit skeptical if I'm being honest. For the same exact reason, I only want to see films if it's a story worth telling. And as you said, they ended it perfectly with number 3. I'm not sure if number 4 is absolutely necessary. But, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt because, as you already said, they haven't let us down with any of the 3 films they've already given us. And the cast, as always, is stellar. You have, Tom Hanks, Woody, Tim Allen.
If they didn't have that same cast, I would have probably...
They would have been
like, nah. But
the film
they're
would
all
have
on board.
made. They would have made the film about
the fact
the
they're
cast.
all on board tells you enough that you need to know. They wouldn't have done it either.
And one of the new characters in the movie is, speaking of John Wick, is Keanu Reeves. He's playing a new toy, Duke Kaboom, in there.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Duke Kaboom.
Duke Kaboom, Canada's greatest daredevil or something like that. But yeah, so you would never be able to. It's very different from anything that Keanu Reeves has done because he's quite mellow, quite laid back, he's up here. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see.
I think Keelan Peele have got a little
Jordan Peele
as well.
Jordan Peele.
They both have it.
Is it? Keelan Peele.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, I apologise.
Unless I'm mistaken, but I'm pretty sure I saw a bit on the trailer with them both interacting.
You're right, actually. You're right.
Keelan Peele both in it as well. So, good cast. I'm
gonna start it. I'm gonna say 4 out of 5.
Well,
I already said 10 out of 5, man. Yeah, I can't wait. It's gonna
5, yeah?
By far, this is going to be the biggest movie of June.
So
it's going to be one of the biggest movies of the year.
Definitely,
100%.
without a doubt. But what could make it a 5 for you? What would you want the toys to go bad or something?
No, it's just in terms of anticipation level. The only thing that's taken a -1 is my skepticism of whether this story is absolutely necessary or not. That's the only thing.
Well, I think it will be. We'll get closure. But
we already have closure.
I don't want to see toys go bad. When toys go bad,
I don't want to see that.
I don't want to see that
because
it was an emotional ending to
nothing good comes out of toys going bad. Do you know what I mean?
There's good guys and then there's bad toys.
There are good toys and there are bad toys.
But bad toys, they still like to play.
They do. They like to play with knives, so that's the problem.
Children and knives don't mix.
Okay, speaking of children, good guys, bad toys,
and knives.
The next film, which is releasing on the exact same day as Toy Story 4, And they alluded to this because one of the recent posters that came out, it showed him like stabbing like Woody or something like that. The movie that we're speaking about is none other than Child's Play, aka Chucky.
Damn, Chucky.
Chucky.
So is
number
this...
one on my horror villains of all time, you get me?
Chucky.
But that was not
You wrote number one?
Yes.
I voted in number 3. So if you want to know what we're talking about, youtube.com/8.screen. We did our top 5 horror villains of all time. Top 5 horror villains of all time. You can check that out. But the reason we voted Chucky, because we've seen him before. So what's this about? Is this what? I mean, what? Is this a remake, reboot, sequel? What is it?
Yeah, it is a remake.
Is he reprising his role from that film?
I heard he's not reprising it. He's reprising it.
Reprising is not the word.
Definitely not. But anyways, it is a remake of the original, which came out in 1988. You know, it's got the person who's voicing Chucky is Mark Hamill, aka Luke Skywalker, aka Joker. From the animated,
sick
Joker very good
in the games as well.
Very good voice actor, which a lot of people don't know. So it's coming out on the 21st of June. If you don't know Chucky, everyone knows Chucky.
Everyone knows Chucky.
So,
but if you don't know Chucky, tell them who Chucky is.
Yeah, so it's basically this story. Oh wow. I don't know if he has a prick. I don't know if Doll has a prick. Actually,
he got married.
In the Bride of Chucky, he was doing bits. He was doing bits. But anyway, the story.
We're wiping all that out.
Yeah.
In this movie, the Bride of Chucky, all that never happened. This is restarting.
Yeah. So the story follows a mother called Karen who gives her son Andy, another callback to Toy Story, give her son Andy a toy robotic doll, which is Chucky, but they're both unaware that this Chucky is the spawn of Satan.
No.
He's the spawn of Satan himself. And then you have what happens next. It's going to be a horror film. You know horror films here there.
Is it one of them? Alright, so they remade It.
Yes.
And they remade Halloween.
Yes.
This is all 80s horrors.
And Pet Sematary.
Pet Sematary,
and
right?
Salem's Lot's coming as well.
Okay, so this is just another trying to bring back the horror genre, bringing back, the 80s vibe, I guess. Is it? Would it be following the same story? Because Halloween and Pet Sematary, they went down a little bit of a different route, didn't they?
I think they're gonna, because it's more modern. It's gonna be a slightly different spin with the whole toys being more technologically advanced. They have
and it's set in the modern day now. Yeah, like you say, not set in the 80s.
So
what they can do with the CGI as well is gonna be mad.
Yeah, and I think they tried to do as much practical effects as they could. Like they have the real dolls, well not real dolls, but actual dolls, 7 different ones with different hands, different faces, so they can, try to make it look as authentic as possible. So it'll be interesting. The only thing I'm worried about is the cast doesn't look particularly stellar. So usually that kind of gives an insight into what the film may be like. So and horrors, as we've covered before,
they're hit and miss, aren't they?
They're very, very, very hit and miss.
They're either really good, aka It, from what I'm led to believe, or they're really bad.
I don't like it.
Really work. So anticipation levels, I'll kick that off for me. Probably 1.5 to 2.
Oh wow!
The only reason being
that's really low.
Yeah, I'm not really a horror fan, as most people know. Actually, people probably don't know, but I'm not really a horror fan. Not really.
People know.
To it.
People don't believe.
Now they know.
Now they know.
All 17.
Now I don't like horrors. I did watch Child's Play when it first came out. And, it was quite scarring as a child.
Indeed.
The only thing I hate more than this stupid doll is like the porcelain, like the female little dolls.
I know.
Yeah, I guess so. But other than Chucky, that was the only other.
That's what you were doing. That's what you were doing.
What was I doing? I was just saying.
That's what you did. So 1.5.
1.5 to 2. Yeah.
I don't know.
And I'm not saying that's just for me because I'm not a horror fan, but I'm intrigued by it.
I like Chucky as a character. He's a good character. He's a little prick, but he's a good character.
That's the thing with Child's Play 3. Sorry to cut you off. Or Bride of Chucky. Is it Child's Play 3 or Bride of Chucky? I don't know if they're the same thing, but that was quite funny.
Yeah,
so someone was saying to me, "Oh, you should watch this new Chucky." This is when it first came out, and I was like, "Oh, I don't like Chucky," and they're like, "No, this is funny." And I could watch it, It was quite funny.
It was quite tongue in cheek.
Tongue in cheek, you know, a few jokes thrown in with the killing. I didn't mind that. But
the thing is,
I think this is going back to its roots of being.
Well, I hope so because, you know, the original Chucky films or Child's Play films, sorry, got a big cult following. You know, Chucky's known for doing bits. He is a villain.
Yeah. People
are scared of Chucky.
Exactly.
Ready Player One.
Oh, that was
Ready Player One. When Chucky came out, everyone was shook.
Yeah.
Oh fuck! It's Chucky. They were scared because Chucky was doing. If Chucky does anything like he did in that 30-second clip in Ready Player One, this will be a good film.
The original film is 30 years old, and the remnants of the effects that happened are still present to this day. You know, you still might look under your bed and be like, "Bro, what's under there?" That's because of Chucky.
I don't do that.
My bed doesn't have anything underneath, so yeah, I'm good. I have drawers, so there's no Chucky under there.
Could be in the drawer.
But yeah, speaking of drawers.
I want to see where this is.
Annabelle, Annabelle Comes Home. That's coming out soon as well. Another horror film.
But this is this is the last.
That was a terrible link.
Yeah, that was a bad.
That was awful.
Have you ever seen Annabelle? In the room that they keep her in,
in the supernatural.
In the
cabinet.
Yeah, the cabinet has drawers.
You're coming out with drawers when Greg's sitting there talking about he doesn't like porcelain-looking dolls. That was a link.
That was like 5 minutes ago, though. Allow me.
Right, so this is the last film of June that we're going to cover. Released on the 28th of June, as you can probably figure out by now. It's Annabelle. Annabelle Comes Home. Didn't even know she left home, but she's coming home. Again, another horror, another doll, another killer doll. Is it a killer doll? I'll be honest with you, I'll have to throw this over to you guys. I don't watch Annabelle. I don't know about Annabelle. What is Annabelle?
Yeah, it's part of the Conjuring universe.
What's the Conjuring? Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's part of the
Conjuring was good.
Yeah, that's a really good horror film. You should watch that.
No,
part of the Conjuring universe. And Annabelle, the second one, she's out. They keep her in this supernatural room so that she's protected and they can't harm her. In the second, she can't harm them. In the second one, they take her out of there for whatever reason. But in the third one, in order to stop her from harming people, they bring her back to that room.
Is this the third one?
Yes.
Right. So they brought her to the room.
They brought her back to their house, which has the room with all the locked artifacts, supernatural, sacred glass, blessing, holy water to keep her contained within that room so she can't harm anyone else.
Okay.
And unbeknownst to them, she awakens evil within that room, who all set upon a new target, which is the 10-year-old daughter of the couple from The Conjuring, which is the I think it's called Judy and what's her name?
What? And do they live in that house?
Yes.
So there's this house
with
this evil room that houses all these evil spirits.
Yes, because they're like professional
and they live in that
Ghostbusters, if you want to call it that. So yeah, and they keep it's dumb, but yeah, they bring her back home. That's the name of the film. But let's go back to Child's Play. My anticipation level for that is also 1. So yeah, but back to Annabelle, probably 0 for this as well.
But if I gave Child's Play 1.5, I'm giving this 0.5. No, I'm not going to see it.
What about you? Are you going to see it?
You said you like Conjuring though, yeah?
Conjuring's good. Conjuring was good. And I like the way they tie in all the films together.
Isn't
so even
The Nun?
Yeah, I was just about to say. So even The Nun. So The Nun, I didn't really like that film. I didn't think it was very scary. I thought it was a little bit.
So the Conjuring universe.
But the way they tied in, sorry Miles, the way actually, why am I apologising? You cut me off.
Wow.
But the way they tied in The Nun and linked it to the Conjuring, that was really clever at the end. That was really clever at the end. I like that.
But all I was gonna say was that the Conjuring universe.
And also it's got Patrick Joseph Wilson. He's a good actor as well.
I'll splash you.
Pause.
Conjuring universe is the Conjuring 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
You have Annabelle 1, 2, and 3. This is the third one that's coming out at the end of this month. You have The Nun. I think they're doing a Nun sequel as well.
Right.
And they had The Curse of La Llorona that came out recently. Some Spanish ghost thing.
And that's in part of the same universe as well.
That's part of the same
universe. See, so if you're a fan of those movies, this is a must-watch then, because it's one of those things where it's part of the universe and continues the story, continues the franchise. If you're saying the sequel's coming with The Nun and whatever, so I guess it's probably, if you are a fan of this,
is good.
Go and watch it and tell me if it's worth it.
Because the main characters are Ed and Lorraine, and they're like paranormal investigators, and all these films are like different cases of.
They're like mediums, aren't they?
Yeah, so
that's fine. Sounds good. 0.5 for me.
Sounds fun. Sounds
and
good.
I think all of them have given like almost 2 billion worth in
So very popular.
But yeah.
So that's why they keep churning them out then, just for the money.
Peas. But yeah,
that's it. That's June's movie releases. So I think what we're basically saying, just a quick recap: Toy Story is your movie of the month.
100%.
Brightburn's possibly your sleeper movie, where that could be the surprise hit.
That's gonna be nice. That's gonna be good.
Men in Black. We're looking at things. We're intrigued by that.
And Dark
Phoenix.
It
the end.
us.
So
if Dark Phoenix, just going back to it quickly, if it's better than Apocalypse, then at least they've done something right. Apocalypse.
The bar is on the floor.
Terrible.
The bar is on the floor.
I think if all else fails, with your June movies, you've got.
Don't say it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do not.
You've got Black Mirror on Netflix. Which is also being released. I just thought I'd give that an honourable mention. 5th of June, Black Mirror. Obviously, we're all Black Mirror fans here. Yeah. I don't think you can go wrong with that. So if you don't really want to go to the cinema, you kind of wasted our time because we've gone to the movies. But watch Black Mirror at least.
Yeah, I love
Should
Black Mirror.
we do a Black Mirror podcast?
We could do. We need to figure out something out because obviously I don't know how many episodes, probably about 8 to 10, something like that. So we should, I reckon.
I think we should. As usual, have you guys got anything else to say before?
No, I was thinking about Black Mirror as well. We covered all the movies.
Well, as usual, you can check all our stuff out on youtube.com/Agents of Screen. All the movies we just mentioned, we will probably be reviewing them live at the cinema.
Yes.
Yeah?
And
all of them? Are we committed to that?
Most of them.
Just check
at least
channel.
2 of them.
We'll definitely be reviewing at least 2.
I know something else that's coming out in June is Love Island. I know some people are interested.
Anyway, as I said, youtube.com/Agents of Screen for all our movie reviews, everything we've just said, you can check out hopefully the review. We'll also put in the description the podcast link. So if you check this out on YouTube and you think, I haven't got time, my data, do you know what? Let me download it. All you've got to do is click the description. There should be a link there. Click that. Should go straight to your
easy as that
podcasting app. Should do.
Easy as that.
But you're the editor, so I'm going to rely on you to be doing that. If you don't want to do that and you want to do it manually, iTunes, Spotify, Google, this will be on all your podcasting. Listen to it on your... Actually, you would have already listened to it, wouldn't you? For future episodes, listen to it on your train, your journey to work, your journey home. Give you something to look forward to. Anything else to plug?
No.
The Champions League final!
We said no!
June the 1st! Come on, Tottenham!
This shit off.
Come on, Tottenham!
Fucking Champions League bullshit.
Get out in front of the camera, man.
Sake.
But yeah, obviously tomorrow at the time of filming, we also have Arsenal in Europa League. Certain teams are going to be back in the Champions League final, and when we are,
it's gonna be
all hell's going to break loose. It's going to be spine chilling. It's going to be absolutely spine chilling.
It's going to be
Sorry, what did you say?
You know full well what it is. You've got extensive experience in that tournament. You know exactly what it is. You know exactly what it is.
Tomorrow I'm watching EastEnders. What did you say you're watching? I don't understand.
Anyway, we've been the Agents of Screen. Do that bit, please.
Until next month for your July monthly or your Black Mirror podcast or your movie reviews.
Of course.
Yeah, you'll find us somewhere. Until next time.
Like, share, subscribe. Agents of Screen as always.
Come on, Arsenal.
And until next time, peace. Bun top.
But yeah.